And now for a taste of things to come.
Hello, my internet fans. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing tonight on the first podcast of 2026, January 5th, 2026? I hope everybody had a great Happy New Year and a wonderful Christmas. But now all that's over. It's time to start 2026 brand new. And we're doing that by officially closing the book on the 2025 NFL season as we make the push towards the playoffs. As many of you noticed and has been watching, all season long, Monday Night Football was a thing. We got through all 17 episodes. I only missed one, so I had a pretty good track record with that. And what a season it was. It was definitely bizarro land in so many cases. I mean, right here, these guys, nowhere to be seen in the playoffs as they finish the season 6-11. And if there's talk that Travis Kelce is going to marry his sweetheart and go off into the sunset, good for you. And then Patrick Mahomes falls with an ACL injury. Sorry to hear that, but it's over. So here on the stat board 9,000 are the records of all 32 teams in all 8 divisions. Anybody in green means that they are division champion. Anybody in blue means that they have a wild card spot. And let's make the Panthers official here really, really quickly because they won yesterday and there's news for that as well. So let's just go division by division here. The AFC East goes to the New England Patriots at 14-3. The Bills 12-5, the Dolphins 7-10, the Jets 3-14. The Patriots are the number 2 seed in the AFC. They did tie with the number 1 seed in the AFC West. That's the Broncos. The Broncos get the first tiebreaker. They are the number 1 seed. They move on. They don't have to play in Wild Card Weekend. They go straight to the divisional playoffs. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers. I've got a story to tell about them. Let's in just a second. I'll read the official story about the Steelers in last night's game. The ageless wonder, Aaron Rodgers, is going to continue playing. AFC North went straight to the Steelers. It had the Ravens won last night, they would have gone in. Bengals 6-11, Browns at 5-12. AFC South, the Jaguars, Tony Khan's team, 13-4. They're the number 3 seed. The Steelers are the number 4 seed at 10-7. The Houston Texans are our wild card team 1 at 12-5. The Colts, they were my pick initially to go to the Super Bowl. They started out so good this season. They end up at 8-9. And the Titans, our residential NFL team, finishes the season 3-14. And in the AFC West, the Broncos get the number 1 seed at 14-3. The Chargers are the number 2 wild card spot at 11-6. The Chiefs at 6-11, and the Raiders at 3-14. The Chargers are the number 3 wild card. Bills are the number 2. So your 7 teams in the AFC in order: Broncos, Patriots, Jaguars, Steelers, Texans, Bills, Chargers. Those are your 7 teams. In the NFC, the defending Super Bowl champions will defend their crown. They finished the season 11-6. Cowboys at 7-9-1, the only team to have a tie and get eliminated. Commanders at 5-12, Giants at 4-13. NFC North, that is our division here at the Casa de Stats. As the Chicago Bears, who would have thought that came into play? They get their division title. The Packers get the wild card spot. The Vikings and the Lions did finish at 9-8, but the Vikings have the better ranking due to a tiebreaker. I mean, the Lions, wow, who thought that one? NFC South, the Panthers got the division after a series of tiebreakers that finally, and thanks to the Atlanta Falcons winning their matchup, all 3 teams finished at 8-9. The Panthers come out on top. John Boy from North Carolina, John Boy and Billy in the Big Show, who has just now retired from radio, he gets to enjoy the Panthers playing football. Saints at 6-11. And finally, the NFC West, the Seahawks are the number 1 team. The Rams and the 49ers both tied at 12-5. Rams get the higher ranking. And the Cardinals out at 3-14. So your 7 teams from the NFC in order: Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, Panthers, Rams, 49ers, Packers. There you go. How do the playoffs get squared up and put into the playoffs? It's easy. The 2 number 1 teams, the Seahawks and the Broncos, they get the bye. They move on. They are in the division championships. They await the lowest remaining seed from the 6 teams that are left. So what does that mean? That means if the Chargers beat the Patriots, the Chargers will then play the Broncos. Or if the Bills beat the Jaguars, the Bills will go on to play the Broncos. Or if the Texans beat the Steelers, the Texans will play against the Broncos. How about in the NFC? Well, let's look at that here. If the Packers beat the Bears, which is the only division rival matchup, 2 versus 7, then the Packers would play the Seahawks. Or if the 49ers defeat the Eagles and knock off the Super Bowl champions, they move on and they will play the Seahawks. Or the Rams, if they knock off the Panthers, then they would do it. Now, this is all a bunch of ifs. Remember, the lowest ranked team the remaining plays the number one team, then the other two teams, based off of rank, play each other. So we'll get to those matchups, of course, as stated in the AFC 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. So that would be the Patriots versus the Chargers, the Jaguars versus the Bills, the Steelers versus the Texans, and in the NFC, it would be the Bears versus the Packers, the Eagles versus the 49ers, and the Panthers versus the Rams. Those matchups are coming up on Wild Card Weekend this weekend, starting this Saturday. I will rattle off the schedule. In the meantime, let's bring up the story of a lovely lady. No, I'm just kidding. Let's bring up the story as written on ESPN from last night's game between the Ravens and the Steelers. And that will officially, since that was the last game of the season, since that was the last game of the season, that'll officially close the regular season book. So let's scroll down here and we'll go to the box score and we'll go recap. Headline reads, Rodgers and Steelers win AFC North, beating Ravens 26-24 after Loop misses kick at the buzzer. This is from the Associated Press. I read it directly. The way Aaron Rodgers looks at it, part of his job is to be a magnetic force. This is, after all, why the Pittsburgh Steelers signed the four-time NFL MVP to a one-year deal last summer, and why Rodgers opted to return for a 21st season after 2 miserable years with the New York Jets, eager to prove he could still sling it, still deliver, still win. Turns out there's some life in Rodgers' right arm yet, and in his team season too. The 42-year-old Rodgers threw for a season-high 294 yards, the last 26 coming on a go-ahead touchdown pass to Calvin Austin III with 55 seconds left, and the Steelers claimed their first AFC North title in 5 years with a 26-24 victory that wasn't assured until Baltimore's Tyler Loop missed a 44-yard field goal as time expired. Pittsburgh will host Houston in the opening round of the playoffs on Monday, hoping to end a postseason victory drought that stretches back nearly a decade. Considering the way Pittsburgh kept bouncing back against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, maybe it should be. Even with Rodgers' late heroics, Baltimore was poised to swing the lead back its way one last time when Jackson connected with Isaiah Likely for a 28-yard gain that put the Ravens within Loop's range. The rookie's kick never had a chance, sailing well to the right of the goalposts as the Steelers poured onto the field in somewhat jubilant disbelief. Quote, I'm not going to ask questions. The good Lord made a good decision tonight. I am thankful and we keep moving on, said Pittsburgh defensive tackle Cam Hayward. I've got a follow-up on that part. Tyler Loop, who had made 30 of 33 field goals this season before his final kick, placed the blame squarely on his 24-year-old shoulders. I just hit the ball. We call it hitting it thin. A perhaps fitting way for a Raven season that began with Super Bowl expectations but never seemed to quite get right to end. Jackson, dealing with a painful back contusion, passed for 238 yards and 3 scores, including a pair to Zay Flowers in the fourth quarter. Each of Flowers' touchdowns at 50 and 64 yards put Baltimore in front. It just wasn't enough, and now a long and potential turbulent offseason awaits. I'm definitely stunned, said Jackson, who decided to speculate on his future. I thought we had it in the bag. I don't know what else we can do. And that's pretty much all I got on that. It was a good game. I did watch. I actually watched as a fan. I briefly thought about maybe going live, but it just didn't take place. So that's okay. That's okay. So I also went ahead. I'm going to flip the board really, really quickly here. And these are the numbers of all the titles. I just haven't done the Steelers yet. So let's go ahead and do that now. And is that... Yep. All right. So let's bring in... Let's send this to... So I can bring him in there. So let's officially add this to the Statboard 9000 so we can get all the stats complete. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. 6 Super Bowl titles. 8 conference championships. 25 division titles. And this is their 36th playoff appearance. Now, if you notice, there are some stars by some of these teams. If you remember, the Super Bowl came about in the late 1960s before it was the AFL NFL championship. Then it became the NFL. So in the example of the Chargers, the Bears, the Eagles, the Rams, and the Packers, they have won the championship game in an American Football League, but the majority of them were not titled the Super Bowl. That is the case for the Bills, the Chargers, the Bears, the Eagles, the Rams, and the Packers. They have all won a championship, but it just was not called the Super Bowl. The Bears did it 9 times. They are only officially NFL Super Bowl champions once. The remaining 8 were the prior to the induction and creation of the Super Bowl. Let's bring them in for maybe who knows when the final time, maybe or just to wrap everything up. Brother Zach, talk to me.
Happy Black Monday.
Oh, today's Black Monday? No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It is Black Monday.
Did you see the game last night?
Yeah, I did.
Can you believe that?
Well, the kid's a rookie, man. You can't hold that against him for missing that kick. You know, it's your job to make those kicks, but you know, the pressure got to him. He's a kid, man. He'll learn, he'll get better, and he'll take this experience and just run with it. Granted, I'm sure his team's not happy, but you know, it is what it is. It's a learning experience. That's all it's about.
Indeed, it is. So, what matchup are you looking forward to?
That's a good question.
That's why I asked.
The Steelers and the Texans is a really good, intriguing matchup. Given it's a big defensive battle. I'm curious about Buffalo going into the playoffs as a 6 seed against
Right.
Jacksonville. I mean, we're used to Kansas City and Buffalo being 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a thing until if Patrick Mahomes miraculously heals up during the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty certain Kelsey's done. He's going to go off and have his honeymoon happily ever after.
Yep.
All the KC fans are going to say it's a rebuilding period. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. The media is going to eat the Chiefs up alive until they get back into the playoff picture, which probably should not happen until 2027, my 50th year.
And then there's always the old Bears Packers rivalry.
Bears Packers is going to be a good matchup. That's I mean, it's the lesser of two evils in this house. I'll tell you that. Because let's face it, there's that classic SNL sketch with Chris Farley. That's where it all started. The Bears. We do that one. And the only reason I dislike the Pack so much is because of a previous person whom I lived with who darn near shoved the Pack down my throat. Even when they lost, this guy was still he lived in an alternate reality. Now, don't get me wrong, I love cheese just like the next person, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stick a wedge of cheese on my head and call myself a Packers fan. So, if I'm gonna predict and preview here, the lesser of two evils.
Discount double check.
What's that?
Didn't get your discount double check?
No. If I absolutely have to pick a winner in this matchup, the Bears are the lesser of two evils for me. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I do have friends that are Packer fans. Amber Red. She's one of the biggest. So I will throw out the Go Pack Go in her honor. But as far as a team, I just can't do it. Let me switch this around really, really quickly.
Yeah, I think Chicago is, one of the team to beat.
What are you saying?
I think Chicago's the team to beat in the NFC. To me,
and we all know who the biggest Bears fan is, and that's Seth freaking Rollins.
Correct.
Which shocked the hell out of me on Christmas Day when he picked the Vikings and the Vikings beat the Lions. That was bizarro land for me. So if we're going, predict the playoffs, which, hey, why not? So let's start AFC East. Patriots, Chargers, okay? Yes, the Chargers are my home state, but they are not my home team. And I can't bash the Patriots anymore because Belichick and Brady have been gone. So, do I like the Chargers? Have I been to a Charger game? Yes. Do I think they can pull it off? It's a slight possibility. Do I want to see the Patriots go back to the Super Bowl? Not really, because Brady's not there, because then I can continue the GOAT dragon. So for that matchup, Patriots, Chargers. Here's the shocker. I'm going to call the Patriots on that one.
Drake May. Drake May.
Exactly. All right. Bills and Jags. Josh Allen has been shoved down my throat so many times. Every time I saw people wearing Bills Mafia shirts and all that. So, and again, the only thing I don't like about the Jags are the upper management, but that's a whole other story. I mean, and I threw this out a while ago.
Tony all year.
I know. Could you imagine if the Jaguars pulled it off and Triple H sends Tony Khan a championship belt in reality here? However, I want to see a Bills-Eagles matchup right now. I know I picked the Colts at the beginning of the season, but right now I want to see the Bills go up against the Eagles. That will be my matchup. So the Bills should beat the Jaguars. The only matchup left would be the matchup which I am going to call on Monday night. So next Monday night, the last game of Wild Card Weekend, according to the schedule, is the Steelers and the Texans. Now, do I get to call an Aaron Rodgers match again? Yes. I think this is my third or fourth one this season alone. I like C.J. Stroud a little bit more because I like his faith. I like the way that he invokes his faith at the end of every game. So for this game, as much as I would like to see the Ageless Wonder get another title and actually succeed, I'm picking the Texans over the Steelers. Don't get me wrong, the Iron Curtain had its day, but still, I just like the Texans a little bit more. So, based off of that would then leave us with the Broncos playing the Texans, and the Patriots would then play it'd be 1 versus 6. It would be the Broncos versus the Bills and the Patriots versus the Texans in the divisional championships. So in that matchup, I would have to pick the Bills over the Broncos. And between the Patriots and the Texans, I would choose the Texans. So your AFC championship should be the Bills versus the Texans. And of course, then the Bills would win the AFC championship. Now, in the NFC, obviously I have to get the Eagles to the Super Bowl, so that matchup is pretty much squared away. So Bears and Packers, already said that. The Bears are the lesser two evils, in my opinion. So the Bears will advance. In the 3-6 matchup, that would be the Eagles versus the 49ers. So the Eagles would win that matchup. So then that would leave the Panthers versus the Rams. Pretty good matchup. The Panthers have the Cinderella story because they have the worst record in the league. So, and the Rams would be my hometown initial team. So do I go with the Cinderella story and my neighbor to the east, or do I go with my hometown? Damn. Okay, in this case, I'm sorry, I'm turning on my fan base. I'm going with the Panthers on that one because of the way they got into the playoffs by way of Atlanta, which is our neighbor to the south. So then that would make the matchup, it would be the Seahawks versus the Panthers and the Eagles versus the Bears, all 4 division teams. So we would have to go then Seahawks versus Panthers. Seahawks win that one. Eagles defeat the Bears. Eagles win the NFC title, which gives us the matchup, the Eagles versus the Bills in the Super Bowl. And in that scenario, I'm okay with either one because the Eagles could then go back to back and maybe get their dynasty going, or Josh Allen could become a Super Bowl champion in my lifetime because, let's face it, I believe the Bills have gone to the Super Bowl almost as many times, if not more, than the Vikings and not won one. So they've won two. They won 2 championships prior to the creation of the Super Bowl, but they have not won the Super Bowl. So therefore, they need to win the Super Bowl and get out of that stigma of teams going to the Super Bowl and not winning. And if the Eagles do it, then, hey, we got back-to-back champions, and their dynasty can continue.
Interesting. Very
and
interesting.
You have the Broncos winning the Super Bowl. Yeah,
so do
okay.
I. So do I. That was my pick in the beginning of the season. I had Broncos Commanders, and well, we know how
Well,
that
the
played
Commanders
out.
are out, so you can't deal with the Commanders right now.
I like. Mm, I'm gonna go bold and brash and crazy. I'm going for craziness. I'm gonna stick with the Broncos. I'm gonna go Broncos 49ers.
Broncos 49ers, huh? Okay, that's your opinion, bro.
Sean Payton versus his former protege, who he trained.
It's a possibility. So let me rattle off the schedule. And the league finally released this, so we know what the games are and everything. All right, so Saturday, game 1 is the Rams and the Panthers. That's at 4:30 on Fox. And then the next game at 8 o'clock, all times are Eastern, so it's 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. So Saturday afternoon, Rams Panthers. Then at 8 o'clock on Prime Video, it'll be the Packers and the Bears. Then the next day, Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock in the morning on the Pacific, it's the Bills and the Jaguars. Then the afternoon game is the 49ers and the Eagles. Then the night game, or the 49ers Eagles is on Fox. The Bills Jaguars is on CBS. Then the Sunday night game is on Peacock NBC. That's the Chargers and the Patriots. And then the Monday night game, game 6 of the wild card weekend, I'll be calling that game because I want to continue the Monday traditions through the Super Bowl anyway. That's going to be the Texans and the Steelers. Then the week after that, the divisional round matchups. My guess is it's going to be 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. I have still not decided. I want to wait for the actual timing to come out. And I kind of did promise myself that I wasn't going to go too personal, but the way 2025 ended didn't end the way I'd like it to. I'm now behind the wheel of the car full time. I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm going to be positive about it. And I'm back to being a full-time rideshare driver for Uber and Instacart. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else about that, but I am going to be doing a lot more driving and everything to take care of as my job. So if I can get some good rides in prior to the games and get the car situation squared away, perhaps I can do the divisional rounds. If not, I'm going to go straight to the conference championship. And then finally, for the Super Bowl is the big one where Noah Foster and myself call the Super Bowl. So that is all squared away.
I need you to put your Stephen A. Smith hat on.
My Stephen A. Smith hat?
Yeah, there's a topic we need to discuss, and I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Like a coach is a coach, a player is a player. It's not all on one person and all of this. But
well, the only hat that, well, hold on. The only hat that I can possibly put on to make fun of Stephen A. Smith, hold that, is this one.
Oh, there you
go. I didn't think I could ever use this thing, but hey, why not? I mean, he puts on the bad cowboy hat when he wants to make fun of the Cowboys. But what topic are you talking about?
Jonathan Gannon was relieved of his duties as the Cardinals head coach after 3 seasons.
Okay.
I have an issue with this. And I know your belief is a team is a team and not one player is a fault for a situation.
Right.
In the Cardinals case, I completely hardcore disagree.
I'm taking a look at the story here.
The reason why they've struggled is because Kyler Murray's a child and cannot put down video games.
Well, put down the controller and put the football in your hand next time. I'll say that right now. The Arizona Cardinals fired third-year head coach Jonathan Gannon this morning after a 37-20 loss to the LA Rams concluded their worst season. Arizona finished 3-14, bringing Gannon's record to 15-36 in his 3 seasons as the Cardinals head coach. He never reached the playoffs while also never finishing higher than third in the NFC West. Arizona went 4-13 to finish last and 8-9. When I look at this is Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell. When I look at just the totality of the circumstances, I wanted 17 games over the 18 weeks to make that decision. I wanted to give the benefit of those coaches and those players to see a whole body of work for the whole season. At the end of the last night, we had a chance to speak. And then again this morning, we decided this was the best. I hate that line. It's the best direction to go.
No, it's not.
That line, there are 2 lines in any working job. If you're not doing your best, then you shouldn't.
It's rough, you know. Kyler Murray just can't put down. I mean, he has an obsession with Call of Duty, and that Call of Duty has caused him to just not care about football. You know, he's staying up late at night, not doing this.
And the coach gets his head chopped off.
You cut out there.
I was just saying, like I normally said, the coach is the coach. Oh, a question. I'll bring up that question in just a second. I have a rant on that. The coach is the coach. The player is the player. The team is the team. The coach tells the player what to do. The player tells the team what to do. If the player can't do what the coach says, why does the coach get his head chopped off?
Thank you.
We've had this debate for years. It will never be solved. However, in this case, if it truly is Kyler Murray, then Kyler Murray needs a talking to. He needs to put down the Game Boy and focus on the football. But again, it's just going to fall to another one.
Biggest problem is he needs somebody with like hard discipline, like a Jim Harbaugh or a Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Somebody who's gonna like
tell him the coaches. Oh no, go ahead.
Somebody's gonna put him in a corner and put him in timeout till he, treat him like a child so he learns. Like
bench him, you mean?
You can't skip team meetings just because you're playing Call of Duty. Like,
if that was is that legit? Did he actually say that?
It's 100%. He misses team meetings and stays up all night and doesn't do his teamwork, and it's terrible in practice because he's up playing Call of Duty. Every time a new Call of Duty game comes out or an update happens, Kyler Murray goes completely into
stat girl
Call of Duty mode.
Apparently some news has come out that Kyler Murray of the Cardinals refused to go to team meetings because he was playing Call of Duty. And the Cardinals just fired their coach.
Well, maybe if Kyler Murray would have gone to team meetings instead of playing Call of Duty.
She just said the same thing.
Go Josh Allen and the Bills Mafia.
There you go. Thank you. You can leave it open because I'm going to be gone. Dory's not going with the Bills this year.
I mean,
and the news also dropped with the Falcons that they fired their coach, and I'm like, you helped the Panthers get in, and you want to fire your coach? What were they supposed to do? Lose and put the Bucks in? Not really.
The Browns
Now,
fired their
let me
coach.
bring up this question because we all know how much I love talking about the Cowboys.
Uh-huh.
Should the Cowboys fire their defensive coordinator, but the Cowboys won't make that decision for
No.
another 10 to 12 days?
No.
Okay. What's the point? Again, what is the point of firing upper executive team management? Okay? They've got nothing but time at this point. Okay, the Super Bowl is what 6 weeks away. Okay, they don't have to make that decision now. Okay. Bottom line is, I'm sick of all these coaches just falling one after another. I can't say it enough. The Cowboys, and I've said this, they're a 50-50 team. We know this. They need to stop being a 50-50 team. Either you win consistently or you lose consistently. Stop going back and forth. Yes, 50-50 is even as even can be, but still. And, Dak is going to do his thing for as long as possible. God willing, keep Jerry Jones healthy. But, I mean, at some point, he's going to not be in charge anymore. And then just buckle down and play better, please. That's all I can say about the Cowboys. Should they fire their defensive coordinator? No, I don't think so.
I think they've done a really good job defensively this season. I liked what Matt Eberflus did after they traded. They pulled the Dallas Mavericks and traded away their best player, and they took that with animosity and freaking ran with it, and they had a really good defense for most of the season.
The Micah Parsons trade was news for so long. It needs to just stop. Okay? I'm surprised every late night person that is left has not continued to keep that joke running. Oh, the Cowboys lost. Let's blame the Micah Parsons trade. The issues in Dallas is all because of Micah Parsons. It's over. Get over it. I don't want to hear about this Micah Parsons trade anymore.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Figuratively speaking, you think if Luka, if the Luka trade didn't happen, like the Parsons thing would be that big of a deal? I feel like
you can't really compare trades in different sports.
But can you? The best player of the franchise in the same city? I mean, come on.
But you can't. I mean, trades in basketball versus trades in football. Yeah, I mean, basketball's season is longer game wise, but it all time wise, it's still 6 months out of the year because now that football season is ending, basketball is going to pick up a lot more. But it's also a business, And if the Cowboys, I did see the comment there. Why do they want to go all in on Brian Flores? Why? What's the point? Is that going to be the miracle cure-all, or are we going to blame that on the Cowboys' woes next season? Why go all in on Brian Flores? Why? Put your focus on the draft. Start worrying about that stuff. Don't worry about the upper management teams, the coaches, the defensive coordinators, the offensive coordinators, the play callers. Don't worry all about that. Go to the basic bottom here, the player. Go to the player right now. Because these guys have the number one pick. Don't screw it up.
They're not. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza. We all know this already.
All I know is that wherever the draft is going to be, there's going to be a sea of silver and black.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, God. There's going to be some guy with black and silver face paint and shoulder pads, and just so he can satisfy the Pittsburgh crowd, he'll wave a terrible towel. I guarantee it. And yes, I will cover the draft in April. I promise you that.
We're going to drive up there. We're going to drive up there for the draft, Mike.
Oh, my God.
We're going to do a special Sad Boys.
You have got so many plans for me, man. You want me down in New Orleans for for Money in the Bank. You know, John Cena's going to be in New Orleans this weekend.
I will. Oh yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
I'm working that event. So
If you send me a picture with John Cena, I'm gonna drive down to New Orleans. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay.
I was telling my roommate like the last time I met a big celebrity like I cared a lot about, I passed out. Like
Uh-huh.
so I'm like nervous to see John. But there's another person here that I want to see because my favorite movie of all time is Twister. I know, weird, random, but Helen Hunt's going to be here too, and that's definitely something on my bucket list, just like John.
Okay. Well, I'm shooting for Orlando in March. That's going to be on my bucket list. So, and I've also accepted the mantra $1 more. I've been telling this to all my passengers that I ride share with because I'm so nerdy with my numbers and all that I try to make $1 more than what I made in the previous year, so I can maybe get a few tips or whatever. And so far in the 5 days, I think I'm like 3 out of 5. So follow me on Twitter at lbstatkid1977 to see if my debt ceiling drops below $50,000 because of the cars I drive. So there's that. So absolutely for certain, Game 6 of the wild card weekend, Monday night, Texans versus Steelers. I'll definitely be here, and then we'll make the decision on what we want to do for the division championships and whatnot else.
I mean, the conference championship, that's a long weekend for
it is going to be a long
championships weekend. And the national championships are the national championship is
and let me quickly touch on that. I mean, wow. I mean, Alabama is out, Georgia is out, the defending champions are out.
Bye birdies.
You know, unbelievable that happened. I did not see that coming. It's like, can we just have one football season either in college or in football where something goes right? Oh, wait, we can't because it's all scripted.
Indiana's no longer a basketball school.
No, they are not. So anyway, folks, I don't want to keep you too much longer. And besides, those of you watching on the Simply Reliable Studios, I do believe we're getting ready for the 1 year anniversary of Netflix on Raw. I do believe the family is going to go live, so I don't want to keep you for that.
Do the walls break down?
Maybe so. Punk versus Breaker for the title tonight, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Do we break down the walls and play Judas?
Hey, never say never when it comes to wrestling. So I don't want to keep you guys anyway. Get your snacks. Then as soon as the families come on in, enjoy the wrestling on TV. Until next week, when the Texans play the Steelers in the final game of the wild card weekend, follow me on LBStatKid 1977. That's where I put all the stuff that I see. Also, I do need to work on the final numbers for our Pick'em contest. We go to the playoffs soon, so more than likely I'm going to be doing that. Until next week, my friends, enjoy the show and get ready for the playoffs. Love you guys. Stat Boy out.